It's so good. Oh my word.
Photography can be challenging and often a return from a shoot feeling discouraged. But it is this very difficulty that makes it so rewarding. The things we value the most in life are often hard won. And all those frustrating early mornings, missed sunsets and windy summits ultimately lead to moments like this one. This particular trip was especially meaningful to me as it marked my first significant climb in 9 months after a knee injury and 2 back surgeries. I had long planned to capture a wide-angle shot from Cat Bells with an inversion, and the conditions finally aligned perfectly. Could I get the image though?
Morning everyone. I am over some amazing inversion again. I think I've got lucky with the inversions recently. This is Derwent Water. And the glow over there is Keswick. It's clear skies. We're hiking up Cat Bells, and this is going to be so good. I think the mist might be rising as well. So yeah, I'm hoping to get a wide angle shot, the classic shot up here, and then hopefully we'll get some long lens shots as well. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, the inversion behind me at the moment is so good. Just look at it there. Oh, so sunrise is over there, but the inversion, it's just sort of swelling. So I'm hopeful it's not going to get to the top of Cat Bells. Oh, this is so good. I am so excited about this. This isn't often that I start with, it doesn't get better than this, but just look at this. It's so spectacular. There's a moon over there, frosty ground, an inversion, an epic ridge that's engulfed in this amazing inversion. And over there looks pretty good too. So I'm photographing just this sort of curve here. There's a bit of a rock in the way there, so I'm a bit unsure about it. I'll probably try and take something else when the sun comes out. Tom's down there. Make sure you check out Tom's photos. I'll link in the description below. He's got a good one with his wide angle lens. I'm shooting with just 24mm, and I'm going to sort of take 2 shots, probably one focused on the foreground, one on the distance, but I think I'll get it all in one shot as well. But just to be safe, it is epic. I'm also going to make sure I don't miss out by just shooting these wide shots, because there's some long shots that are going to be good as well, and things will be changing all the time. Oh, the fingers that are just coming over there look amazing. Oh, this is so good. Quick, don't fall over.
So I always recommend getting to the top of a mountain super early. I had a lot of time with this composition and different forms of this composition as you'll see throughout the video. I like this, I think it's good. I really like the softness of it from the long exposure, but I think I get a better shot later on, which I'll explain as the video goes on. I now go and take some long shots because I've got a lot of time before light starts to hit the top of this ridge. So I spend a little bit of time getting long shots, and then I come back to this.
Okay, hopefully I'm going to shield you from the wind, because I've not got a very good wind buff on this. But you can see just there, I've also got it on my camera, I've just got these 3 ridges, a bit of an island there, then I've got this ridge here, just to the bottom of Cat Bells, and then Skiddaw here, a bit of pink, a little bit of a wisp of a cloud as well, which looks quite good. It really doesn't get better than this. Oh, this is just so epic, just everywhere you look. I mean, look over there. What you've got to be careful of in conditions like this is just not being in awe too much, and you're still got to think about composition. You know, the fact that your bottom lip's freezing, you just got to forget about that and concentrate. Right, back to it. Okay, so one of the things that I'm trying to do now is I've just got my long lens on, my 100 to 400mm lens, you can see here, and I'm just sort of picking out the details just as the sun's just coming out over there and it's catching the tops of the peaks, and I'm using this sort of bottom sort of third of the image, or half of the image I suppose, just of the amazing fog down there. This is so spectacular. I've just never seen anything like it. The moon's just setting over there. And then there's some other sort of nice shots that I can take just down with the long lens. Down there you can see over there. So just waiting for the light to come out. It's obviously got to get over some hills there and a little bit of cloud. And I've been taking some just close-ups with my long lens just down, but I think it needs just a little bit more light. There's that position between the blue hour and when the sun comes up where you just get that sort of flat light, but it's getting better, I think. But you can see just behind me there where when this gets sun, I think it'll get really colourful because these trees have still got a little bit of colour in them, so I think that'll be good. And I'm just looking at all the mountains, just checking how the clouds changing around them, because it changes all the time. So, yeah, wow, amazing. Okay, we've got the sun out now and it's looking pretty spectacular. I've got to admit, I'm struggling a little bit. Tom's just down there taking his rocks, and make sure you check out his shot, because I think it's going to be pretty good. But two of us can't get in the same position, and I don't want Tom, if I go higher up, Tom's going to be our shot. So I found a composition here where I've got these rocks that are getting lit by the sidelight and then these two paths. It might be a little bit too complicated. I quite like these grasses here, I quite like these rocks, but these shadows are maybe a little bit off-putting, but I think it's looking pretty good. I think I might just try and go down there and see what else I can find, but it's just so glorious, and the sun is warming me, so that's nice. Oh, on this as well, I should say that it's 24mm and I'm focus stacking it, so I'm focusing on these rocks here and on here, but I'm at f11 and I think it'll be fine anyway. So nice.
I actually really like the paths in this. I think it works well because the shadow area of the paths is quite uniform, and I like the bottom right path sort of sweeping round. The thing that I'm not sure about is these rocks in the middle. I think they're just a little bit distracting because their shape is not in keeping with the rest of the scene. There's nothing that the shapes of the rocks matches with. The thing I really like about this, and I wish that I got this on my favourite image from here, is the fog is just covering that island in the distance a little bit more, and it creates separation between the ridge and the island. So you can't have everything all at the same time. Everything to align is really, really difficult, but that's why it's so important to just have time on your hands when you're taking wide angle shots.
Okay, I think this is a little bit better. So I've got this rock down here. This bit's just a bit of a mess, but then it links to this rock and then down to the ridge and then to here and then to Skidore in the background. And I've made sure I focus stacked it again because there's some really nice ice just on this rock. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go a little bit further down when the light comes out, a little bit lower. I think I'm gonna go down there, but it's just so beautiful here.
So in this image, I like the very bottom of the foreground. I really like that rock, but there's a lot of shadows in this image, and I think they become a distraction. And also that grass just at the top of the rock to the right hand side just doesn't work. Again, it's a distraction. The texture's different. It just doesn't sit nicely in that image. So I don't think this works. I think it's a good attempt, but I don't think it quite works as a wide angle shot.
Okay, I moved to Tom's Rocks, we're calling them. I think other people have taken these as well, so I can take it, I think. But Tom sort of showed me this composition. The reason it's good is because there's a lot of repeating patterns in the foreground, which works really nicely. So I'm just sort of working it a little bit. I've got this at the moment. I think I'm probably going to go a little bit higher and a little bit to the left. So probably more like, just move my tripod, maybe more like that might be a bit better, just a little bit higher. I've only got 24mm lens, so now I'm thinking I should have brought my wide angle, but it's still pretty good. I definitely got to focus stack this. So I think I'll try one maybe about there and see how that goes. And if I need a little bit more sort of focal width, then I will focus stack it doing it vertically, which is pretty simple to do.
In the end, I preferred the square or landscape crop of this image, and this second image here is actually a vertical pano, so I could get a little bit of a wider angle out of my 24mm lens, and I think this works really well. This is Tom's portrait image a little bit earlier when the light wasn't on it, and I think that works well as a portrait when there's no light on it, but when the light's on it, I think it needs a little bit more room to breathe, hence why I prefer the square or landscape crop. And I talk more about this in the studio, and why it was so important to have that time for the wide angle lens later in the video.
I'm just running around like a headless chicken here. So I've got my long lens on again, and basically what I'm doing is, if I just put the video on here, I am shooting just these trees down here, so you can see that the mist has just gone from these trees, but it's at the top of the frame, and I think it looks quite good. So I'm going to shoot that, and then there's also over there, so right over there, there's another really good shot, so I'm going to get that, but the mist is just sort of drifting away now. It's just drifting down the lake. It just looks so spectacular. Oh my word. I'm sure there's other good shots over there as well that I'm probably missing, but this is good enough. I love this so much. Okay, just when you think it's all over, it isn't. So basically, just over there, there's some trees that have been in the fog, and they've obviously got hoarfrost on them, and they've just poked out of the fog now, and they look amazing. They're just catching the sun. The hoarfrost will probably go eventually. So you can just see this sort of island of trees down here. It looks so good. So I've got my long lens on, my 100 to 400, and this is, I mean, I always used to use my 70 to 200 and loved it, and never thought I needed anything much longer, but now I've got this lens, I find myself shooting between 200 and 400 so often. So it's definitely a good purchase, but there's shots appearing everywhere. I mean, even over there, just behind me, just looks fantastic now, with just like the sun on that little house. It doesn't get better than this. Okay, that was an epic morning. Funny enough, I wasn't going to come here. I was planning to go to the Langdales, and I messaged Tom and told him I was going to go out, and he said he was going to come here. And you know that feeling you have in the morning where you think, or in the evening, the night before, you think, I don't know whether I can get up earlier, and I don't want to hike up 250-metre climb. But, oh my God, it was amazing. And Tom is amazing at predicting weather, and I think he knew there was going to be a bit of an inversion here. When you look at the weather, you can see usually when there's low wind is a good indication, and it's not always the case, but low wind, and you just need a bit more moisture in the air. It wasn't any inversion in the Langdale, there was an inversion here. Thanks, Tom. He's going to bring out a video, I think, at some point that he's going to offer to people that explains the weather and how to get the best out of the weather. So look out for that in the new year. I think I've done here. I'll probably take a few more shots of my long lens maybe. The light's a little harsher now, and as you can see, the mist is rolling back.
Well, what an
absolutely stunning morning that was. I hope everybody's having a fantastic 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. That was shot last year, so I'm back in my studio now in the new year, and I want to go through some prints. I want to talk a little bit more about wide-angle photography and the importance of just a few things and how I took some of these photos, and also just want to show you a book I made about this as well. So, and I've also got a new announcement at the end of the video. In fact, a couple of new announcements at the end of the video. So a lot to put into this section. First of all, let's have a look at these stunning prints. So this was taken as we got up to the top of Cat Bells here in the Lake District. It was dark. This is a 30-second exposure. So obviously finding a composition in that weather was really, really difficult because, well, I say that weather, how dark it was, because it was a lot darker than it looks in this image. We had this really amazing frost on the stone, so I wanted to sort of reflect that. I had just my 24mm lens. I didn't have anything any wider, which was fine for this. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and how I converted it into a slightly wider lens in a minute. But this was the first shot, and I knew I wanted to take this view, but I knew that I wanted to have time to think about the composition. So I thought I'd get this in, but I knew that as the light came up and changed, there'd be different effects, different things becoming prominent. And yeah, the fog was rolling in and out, as you saw in those amazing time lapses. I like this. I think this is good. I don't really like this rock here. I don't think it's that bad though, and actually I thought it was going to be worse than it was when I was taking it than now I've printed it. But I think this works pretty well as a shot. But the shot that I really like, the one that worked the best, and I did show, before I get onto the other one, I did show this shot here, I've not printed it out, of the paths, and I don't think that path shot works quite as well as this next shot, just because I feel like the path is just a little bit messy. It's better than the other composition that I took, where there was a bit of grass, a clump of grass that was really distracting. But I feel like this next shot's better. So this was taken with my 24mm lens, but I panned it. So I just panned down a little bit, just to get a little bit wider and a little bit more of this amazing foreground in. And then I also focus stacked it as well. So I took a shot there, and then I panned down and focused on the rocks and focused on the mountains in that one that I'd panned down on, and then stacked it all together. In fact, I think I might have focused in 3 places I did. It's a 3-stack focus. I think I focused here, here, and here. But I feel like this works a little bit better than that other one for a number of reasons, and let me explain. And I think this is why when you're taking a scene like this, you've got to take your time. That's really the secret to wide-angle photography, is taking your time. I talked about this when I talked about shooting either lots of shots or just concentrating on one. And I do take other photos in this location, but not with my wide-angle lens. This is the only view that I try and get with my wide-angle lens. The other ones are just taken with my long lens, and with a long lens it's really easy to spot a composition and go, I'm just going to quickly snap that. Whereas with a wide-angle lens you can't do that easily. You've got to be really careful and you've got to take your time. So here I did take my time. This a slightly different composition than this. I think Tom had got a vertical composition with more of these rocks in down here, and he'd seen the sort of repeating patterns here. So I sort of pinched a little bit of his composition and then just put my own take on it and did a landscape version. What I really like about this is I like the fact that you can see a little bit of field here and then this fog going all the way around to the field here. And it gives you a better sense of place, I feel, than a vertical cropped in shot. I also like the fact there's light on here and not on here, because I feel like this looks better. It's got this cold nature to it. I think if we had light on here as well, then the shadows wouldn't look as good. The light on here looks fantastic. And then we've got this separation, the fog coming through and this separation with the mound here. And then, unfortunately, we've lost some of the clouds on the peaks in the background, but this is Skiddaw. You can see it's got a little bit of snow on it. I think this is just such a nice shot. It's pin sharp, looks absolutely fantastic printed. I really like that. I'll show you a few of my other shots. By the way, if you want to know how to focus stack then I'll put a link to a video that I've done about it here, or I talk a lot more about it in my masterclasses, and there's a discount code below. Right, I will just go on to some of the ones that I did take with my longer shot. Now these were just snapshots, so whilst I was waiting for the light to come good on the wide angle shots, I was just shooting with my long lens, which is another really good tip, because I find that wide angle, you need to think, you need time, you need to have your apple and just sort of ponder. Whereas long lens, I feel like you can just look around whilst you're having your apple, spot something and just take it. And I spotted these birds flying through here. You can just see them in this shot. Yeah, I just got this handheld with, I think it's probably about 300 millimeters. I probably would have said when I showed it before. And I really like it. I actually thought there was quite a lot of hoarfrost down here, but there isn't as much as I thought. A lot of these trees are just larch that have just started to look a little bit pale. And then the other one that I really liked was this one, which was a little bit further over the lake. This was just, the mist was clearing here. Again, I did a really great time lapse of this. The mist was just going in and out, and when it cleared a little bit and revealed this island, then I got this shot. And again, I like the difference in colour temperature between the warm and the cool in the background, where all these trees are all in hoarfrost, which just looks fantastic. So I was really pleased with that. I think it worked so well. And, you know, printing your images like this is just so fantastic. If you've got a printer, then, you know, I'd really recommend doing it. But if you haven't got a printer, then, you know, you can make a book. And I made a book of this particular trip, Cat Bells, winter of 2022. So let's have a look at this book. This was printed from Sol Digital, who are sponsoring this week's video. But I want to talk you through this book and show you some of the other images in this book as well, because I feel like having something like this when you've gone on a good trip, you might not do it for a walk like this, but if you've been to Antarctica or you've been to, you know, a great destination, creating something like this that you can put on your shelf, bring out when you've got friends around, it's just so great. Right, let's have a look at it. So Sol Digital are a fantastic professional high-end photo book manufacturer. In fact, you can print lots of things with Sol Digital. I love their photo books. I've used them for a long time. Here's another little version from the Faroe Islands with different sort of paper on, which looks fantastic. And then you can get really big photo books like this one here, which is a slightly different backing. And you can see, oh, this is some of my woodland images printed on this really nice paper. I have to say, the reason that I'm really pleased to work with Sol Digital is that, well, two reasons really. One is the colour reproduction is perfect. I've often sent my prints off and they've got them back and the colour's not been right, they've been too dark. But as long as your monitor's calibrated, you don't have it too bright, the colour representation from Sol Digital is the best of any photo book manufacturers that I've ever used. The other thing that I like them is that they do these lay flat books. So as you can see here, when you've got a panoramic image, this was taken with the moon, then it just looks really good. But I just feel like it's a better way to look at your photos, having a lay flat book like this. So here are some of the photos that I took that morning, and I think it's so nice to have them printed out like this. But you can see that the colour of this, if I match it with the colour of my print, now obviously my print's a lot bigger because it's A2, but you can see that the colour of the two is identical. And I'm particular about colour. You know, being a professional photographer selling prints, it's really important to get that colour right. I'm really pleased with this. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. The software to use to design this, you download to your computer. You can see here when I designed this book, it was really easy to do. You can just drag and drop your photos and just place them on the pages. I've gone fairly simple with this. I've done a few panos, but mainly I've just put the photos on the pages here, no text, and just created something that's really special. So yeah, I was really pleased with this. I also, in this book, printed some photos right at the end here. These photos were taken with this amazing hoarfrost. And this was the day after. This was probably one of my favourite photos. So if you're looking to print out your photos, get a photo book, then check out Sol Digital. There's a link in the description below. They've always got really good offers on. So make sure you take advantage of that. And they ship worldwide as well. So go and take a look at Sol Digital. So I just want to talk about this print here.
I'm dead excited because I'm about to update my print store. I've just recently relaunched my website. There's loads of gallery images in there, a lot more images I've shared, but I've not done it yet, but I'm going to redo my print store. I'm in the process of doing it. And this is one of the prints that's going to go in there. I'm going to have some of the limited edition prints that are very limited, like 1 of 5, 1 of 10, that are printed like A2, A1 size. But I'm also going to do some sort of mini box sets. So this is the box that I've had produced, and there's going to be 3 prints that you can get in these, and sets of 3, and they're going to be available a little bit cheaper than these super limited edition prints. So they're going to be limited edition, but they're going to be limited to 1 of 50 or 1 of 100. So make sure you check out those when they come available. I send an email out on the email newsletter, and yeah, there's going to be a lot more prints. I've not added to my print portfolio for probably 2 years, which is really bad. I've just not had time to do it, but I've spent a lot of time printing out prints, getting them perfect, using a lot of ink, and I'm really, really excited about sharing this. Also, before I go, there's 2 workshops. The places might have gone on them now. There's one on West Greenland and one on East Greenland with James Mass and myself. Take a look, there's a link in the description, and I hope you can join me. I'll also be releasing some other workshops shortly in the Lake District as well for anybody that's interested in that. It's a long video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks ever so much for watching, and until next Sunday, bye.